And I based it on a book I just recently read, Be Useful by Arnold Schwarzenegger. I have been following Arnold for years and years, obviously because of my entertainment background, and he was a leading man back in those days. But something was always very powerful, and I was always impressed by it. And that is how he approached life and how he became successful as the leading actor in Hollywood. And I talked about that quite a bit. I talked about it in my first book, Secrets on How to Succeed in Showbiz, because I took his example on how visionary he was and also how he acted like he already was that leading man, and many other different factors that he used to become the successful man that he is today and that he was back in the days, right? So I always admired his work ethic and admired his philosophy. Of course, now with having his new book out, I needed to get my hands on it. And I actually purchased also the audio version because I love to hear it. And especially since he is narrating it in his own voice, it was even more powerful. So it just created that connection even stronger. But what I loved about this book was how he intertwined stories into his narration and also to bring a point across. And this is what I have been teaching for years. The storytelling is crucial if you are a coach, if you want to bring a point across, not just in a professional way, but even with your family. Stories are very ingrained in how we grew up, and even our ancestors. Yeah, we learned through stories. And this didn't change. Stories grab our attention, and we can put two and two together sometimes easier when a story is attached to it. So this is what Arnold is doing so masterfully. And it was very entertaining just listening to the stories. And of course, a lot of the things I know, nothing new. However, I'm always a student first. And if you listened to my last episode that I uploaded here on my platform, Learners Are Earners, I stress that I am a lifelong learner and we always want to grow. And when we learn something new, we do. And so even though there are a lot of the things I already know, there are a lot of the things I already apply in my life. But then there were also those things that I needed to be reminded of. Repetition is the mother of skills. And that's very true. We have to be reminded again and again of the tools that are timeless. And even Arnold in his book said, you know, what I'm sharing here is nothing new. They're timeless tools, but how I applied it or how I put my spin on it might be different. And this is the same for you. How you apply it and how you put your spin on it might be different. How I apply it, I put my spin on it is different. But the basics are the same. So today I want to give you an overview and a summary of Arnold Schwarzenegger's book, Be Useful. And he has 7 chapters in which he shares the timeless tools, in which he shares his approach, stories, and how you can perhaps apply it into your life. So here we go. Number one, have a clear vision. And for me, that has been always a very important part in my life. And I've been teaching it for decades. The matter of the fact is, I put it into my first book and my second book as well. Vision is important, because even the good book said, without vision, people perish. And this is so true. If you don't have a vision, you will go aimlessly through life. What does it mean to have a clear vision? It doesn't mean necessarily you have to figure it all out, right? And how Arnold mentioned it in his book, you can have a broad vision and then slowly bring it down to a very more clear and narrow and a precise vision. Or you can start out right away. If you have that clear vision, precise vision, and you narrow it down from the beginning, that's great too. Whatever works for you. But have a vision. In Arnold's example, his big vision was to come to America. And I can relate to it because I had that vision when I was in my young, early adulthood. I thought, oh, it would be so cool to be in America, to be married there, to just live there. I didn't know at that time what it meant for me, but I made it a reality. And of course, I had other visions that came before that. But for you, it might be something big, but you have no clue yet how to get there. And maybe through that broad vision, you can start figuring out what would be my next step to get to that broad vision. Even for me, when I became an actress, I had no idea how to get there, but I always had that vision. I wanted to do something different with my life. I think that was my broad vision, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I wanted to be different. I wanted to have fun. I wanted to explore. And that's how my life really looks like. I am in the exploration stage. And I've been there since I was a kid, really. That was my broader vision. And that then brought me into some more narrower vision for starting out of becoming an actress. And then that led me to become a business owner and so forth. So what is your vision? As narrow or as broad it may be. But that is the number one, because without a vision, you go aimlessly through life. So have a vision, have a goal. And then number two is never think small. And of course, in Arnold's life, as you can see, he never thought small. He wanted to come to America, one of the biggest countries in the world. He wanted to become a superstar in bodybuilding. He wanted to become Mr. Universe. And then he wanted to become the leading man in Hollywood, a box office movie star. He didn't think about, well, now with my title, Mr. Number One in bodybuilding, I could play probably roles in movies as a bouncer, as a, strong man, whatever sidekick it would be. But no, he thought big. And that's why he turned down a lot of roles that were offered to him, because his vision was to become the leading man. And of course, after Conan the Barbarian and Terminator, the rest is history. Even though he didn't have all the little things figured out yet, but he always has the big vision. Think big. And the how will show up as you go along. And then number three is how he says it, work your ass off. In other words, you have to work hard for what you want to achieve. when I started deciding I'm quitting my 9-to-5 job, I wanted to become an actress. I had to work hard. And that means I had nobody who paid for my second education. So during the day, I worked what I've learned in the insurance industry to, make my living, to pay the rent, to put food on the table, and to pay for my acting education, for my acting career that I wanted to start. And I did this for 3 years. So I got to work at 6:30, got off work at 3 o'clock, then went to my acting school. It was a private acting school. And from the afternoon till 9 o'clock, I worked there. And Saturday mornings, went back to school. And on the weekends, I learned my lines and whatnot. And I did this for 3 years. So you have to work hard. It's not just coming like, well, maybe I'll be discovered someday. No, this is not how it happened. And then even when I was a working actress, I wanted to become more. I always dreamed of becoming a musical theater performer, wanting to play those big roles, wanted to dance and act. But I started late in life. However, I had the talent and I already took classes, but now was the next step. In Germany, there was a program, and that they wanted to have German speaking talented actors or singers or dancers who were good dancers but didn't have the acting education yet, or needed some more education in singing, or some more classes or training in singing and so forth. So what happened, as the musical wave swept over to Germany, they had to import people from the United States, from Broadway or London. They all spoke English. And when they sang German, nobody could understand them. So Cats was the first musical that came over, and the dancers, most of them were from the States. And they couldn't really speak the language. So it was very hard to understand. And as the musical theater scene grew, they realized they needed Germans to also learn how to sing and act and dance all at the same time. So there was a special program. We had to audition for it. And of course, my hard work that I put in, even when I was a working actress, to go into dance class. And sometimes I was on the ballet bar with kids, but I didn't care. I knew I wanted to become a musical theater performer. So I needed to increase my skills as a dancer. And I continued taking voice lessons, even after I was done with my first education that I had. And that ultimately led me to be accepted to the 1-year program that we actually got paid to attend. And from there, wow, a whole year working hard, and then continued to work hard. But that at the end gave me the dream roles, like playing Sister Amnesia in Nonsense, or Lucy in You, a Good Man, Charlie Brown, or Madame Thénardier in Les Miserables. And that's what I'm talking about, working hard, or as Arnold says, work your ass off. And then number 4, sell, sell, sell. What does that mean? No matter in what area in your life, you have to sell yourself always. And by that, I mean, of course, you have to sell your vision, maybe to your family. Like, hey, I want to go to this vacation, to this little island called Hawaii. And your partner or spouse maybe not so keen about that because the flight is too long, or whatever it may be. So it's up to you to sell the idea that it would be a great idea to be in Hawaii. Yeah, maybe the flight is too long, but once you're there, you remember there are like different zones of weather. Or, wow, I know you love to dive with dolphins or swim with dolphins. There actually, there's a bay that has those wild dolphins, and you can swim out there and you can swim with them. Whatever it is, I mean, you have to sell your spouse on an idea sometimes, or you have to make sure you have perhaps a very, very good product, but if nobody knows about it, nobody can buy it. So you have to get out there and promote yourself. That's what he meant by selling. Go out there, promote yourself, make contacts. This is crucial, let me tell you. And I have to admit, this was not my strong point. And sometimes it still is not. But I know what I have to do if I want to get something done. Right now, I'm working on a book project based on my podcast, Become. I wanted to have co-authors who share very powerful stories so people can read it. People can be entertained reading stories, because as I mentioned at the beginning of my episode today, stories are powerful tools to learn and to receive aha moments. So I wanted to have other people to tell their stories, and for the readers to understand I'm not alone. There are other people out there. So that's what I mean by sell, sell, sell. So I had to go on the phone, talk with people. I had to do Zoom calls to share my vision and to let other people know that the opportunity exists for them to become, in some cases, a first-time author, giving them the opportunity. And they were thankful for it. And see, this is what I mean. You have to get out there and let people know about your vision, about what you have, about your products, about your ideas. And that's what he's talking about in his chapter 4, sell, sell, sell. And chapter 5, shift gears. So by that he meant sometimes we have to adjust, we have to adopt. And let me tell you, it's crucial that we do that. Because if not, if you figure out something is not working and you keep doing the same thing again and again, you will get the same results, right? If we are doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting different results, that's insanity, right? So that is what he meant by we have to shift gears. We have to sometimes adjust. And he gave a great example from his time as a governor. And oh boy, sharing his stories, being a governor, opened my mind a little bit more of, wow, he was really progressive in bringing people together. What he said in the story that he shared was everything was great and wonderful, and he implemented wonderful new laws and policies to help grow the economy. There was surplus, and there were things in place for that he put aside for rainy days, how he mentioned. And then the big crash came in 2008 that we all experienced, the deep depression that we had. Oh yeah, we were depressed. Maybe it was not quite a depression, but it definitely was a huge recession, right? But he shared that all of a sudden he had to make tough decisions. He had to shift gears to not have California get into default, because all of a sudden the banks were collapsing. I had to shift too. I had to make tough decisions when the crisis hit, because I was just about to retire and sell a part of my business and go on a big cross-country tour. And then the crisis hit, and I found myself all of a sudden on the other side of the coin, where all of a sudden business was plummeting. So I had to adapt, I had to shift, and we have to do this. But oftentimes, this is, of course, like a very dramatic time. We have to adjust too when there's not so dramatic. Maybe you work in a business, or you work in a you work on your own business that you just don't seem to get off the ground, or you don't seem to make a certain product happen, or you have trouble selling something. So you have to start thinking, how can I shift? How can I make it happen? Maybe there's something that I need to adjust. Maybe I have to rethink this product. Maybe I thought it was a good idea, but people really didn't want it. So we have to adjust and shift. Always, always, always. And sometimes even in our personal life, when we think everything is going so well, but all of a sudden, maybe you have a health condition, and that wakes you up. And you think, well, if I continue the way I am doing things, the way I'm eating, the way I'm maybe not exercising, this will not get better. So you have to shift. Start thinking, how can I improve my health? Maybe I have to walk more. Maybe I have to shift what I'm eating, what I put into my mouth, from processed food to natural food, to real good food that I cook myself, right? So whatever it may be, sometimes we simply have to admit that we have to adjust and shift. At number 6, shut your mouth and open your mind. Wow, that is along the line what I preach, what I apply, but I cannot talk enough about it. And this is mindset. Open your mind, listen to others. By shut your mouth, he meant we should listen more. Listen what others have to say. Listen to great programs. Listen to audiobooks that will help us open our minds. And when we do this, we will really not only feel the shift, but we will see the results that our open minds and the new things that we learn will bring into our lives. So shut your mouth, open your mind, listen more. And last, break your mirror. Oftentimes, we are so self-centered. We are focused just on ourselves and don't see the others. We look into our mirror and just see ourselves. So literally, if you put that picture of breaking the mirror, that self-image falls away, and now you're able to see others. Now you're able to see how you can help others, how you can make an impact. And as he said, how to be useful. What can you do today that can make a difference? Yes, of course, if you have a great product, bring it out there. You can sell it. It's nothing to say you just have to become a monk and don't collect any more money and just do everything for free. Although that is a big part of it, it has to be a good balance. So you have your talent. Yes, offer it on to the marketplace And if it's good and people need it, they will gladly pay you. But also have time that you just give freely without expecting anything in return. Volunteer. I, for many years, volunteered at my local shelter, Humane Society. And that brought me joy because I love animals. I love dogs. And I was a dog walker. So if I could help them to get out and sniff around and get out of their cage, it made me feel good. No matter what it is, you can donate your time, you can donate money to a cause that is dear to your heart, or simply helping someone with the grocery bags. If you see like an elderly person or someone who has an injury or so. The other day, somebody was on crutches and I helped that person to open the door, something so simple. And they're grateful for that. So look beyond yourself and ask yourself, how useful can you be for others, to others, for the society, for this world? And there are so many organizations out there that make a positive difference in this world. What could it be for you that you could help? I hope you enjoyed this episode today, got some golden nuggets out of it, and most importantly, wrote things down and apply it. Because at the end, application is what makes the difference. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't apply it, it just sits there dormant, right? And if you think of a friend who could benefit from this information right now, please share this podcast and this video, and you will perhaps make a positive difference in somebody else's lives. So my friend, I wish you a wonderful rest of the day whenever you listen to it, maybe of the rest of the night. And until I see you again, remember, serve from the heart, follow your passion, and live the life you imagine.